Hi, welcome back. Today I would like to talk to you about, excuse me, the worksheet for the artifact analysis. This is to help guide you through analyzing your artifact, whether you're in 1101 or 1102. There are some things that might be a little strange, but the only page that you have to fill out and turn in is the last page. You'll find this in the course then content. It has a lot of information in the first couple of pages, kind of a summary of the things we've been talking about if you're in 1102, and some of the things as far as values that we've talked about. We haven't talked about monster narratives and fears. We will get to that later in 1101, so this is all good, but keep this in mind for when you're writing your analysis, because you've got all this information handy in one little sheet that you have filled out. So I won't go over it because you can read it, but if you have questions, please let me know. Shoot me an email and we'll set up a Google Meet. But I do want to go over the parts of the analysis sheet that you have to fill out. So the first part is circle all the ply. So if you are doing an analysis of an artifact from the 50s, which all of you should be doing, even if you're talking about values, what fears do you see? Because fears and values are linked. So what fears do you see? Do you see fear, if you're talking about education, do you see fears of different races mixing because that was a time of segregation? You know, do you see teachers dominating students or vice versa, students being little punks and, you know, and trying to rule the school and destroy education and all that stuff, depending on your artifact, right? Next, it says values about your subject expressed in the text. That's going to be where you're going to put your most information. Whether you're in 1101 or 1102, you have to be able to talk about the values of your text. And where do those values come from? How do you know what the values of the people in the time period were? Well, you look at the things that characters say and the way they act, the things that they do. That will reveal their values for you to be able to analyze. And remember, when you're writing your essay and you're talking about their values, use textual evidence, actual lines from the artifact. Okay, don't forget, it's very important because textual evidence is much, much stronger than, oh, this is what I saw, this is what I think. You know, this is what the writer uses to prove something about values or to teach us about values. Who is the ordered world? That means basically who's in control of the narrative, who's in charge of the world in which the artifact is set, the story is being told. Who's the majority? Okay. Next is who is the monster in your text? That's the person who is challenging the values of that ordered world. So you should be able to identify them. Next, what values do they threaten? So you got to be specific here in this worksheet. You got to be specific. You may not include all of this information in your essay, but you need to have it on this worksheet so I know you have done a thorough analysis and you have a complete understanding of your text. Okay. Next is what values do they threaten? Where does the monster rampage? What do they do that could be labeled a rampage? And we haven't talked about that yet in 1101, but we will. Like I said, we'll get to that. How does the ordered world fight the monster? There are only two ways to fight the monster. You either do it through knowledge, you know, learn something. Like if the monster was the coronavirus, then through experience, we learn, you know, how to fight the virus through vaccines. That's using knowledge. The other is coercion. You know, you bully them or you use force. Okay. So which do they do in your artifact to try to get the monster back under control? And the last one it says is writing out all the different parts of your thesis statement. And we've talked about thesis statements in previous videos, so I won't go over it here. Okay, so please check the syllabus. There's a revised syllabus and course map that I loaded up in the course content for everybody. Hopefully much easier to read and understand. Everything now is due on Fridays, so just make sure we don't have things due every Friday, but if something is due, it's going to be on a Friday. So check that course map closely because we're going to try to stick to it as best we can. No more late work, people. I'm not going to accept it. Like I said in the announcements, we've all had time to, you know, manage our work schedules, our school schedules, and our technology, and me juggling my health. But I appreciate your patience and your kindness, and I want you all to stay healthy and well. And email me if you have questions.